Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
And today we will be speaking about the first 2 weeks of the NBA season.
Yep.
So first off, talk to me about your Celtics. Honestly, that's. I feel like we need to address that first.
Yeah. So I love what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
And especially in our best player, Jason Tatum. It's evident he's changed his shot. He's lost the hitch at the top of his jump shot.
Yeah.
And I actually went to a Hornets Celtics game last night, and it's just offensively he's just a scary player to guard, because when he gets downhill and really gets into a Barkley, gets into the post up, he's drawing double teams every single time down the court.
Yeah.
So we're not a team, and this is, I don't know what Charlotte's strategy was, but I've seen teams do this all across the league. They try to double Tatum every time he gets in the post or gets into a one-on-one situation. The problem with doing that is we have shooters everywhere. We have Pritchard, who could be a six-man of the year.
Y'all make him pay.
Like, we make him pay. Like, we get up the most threes. We saw on opening night, we got up 60.
Yeah.
And we shoot it at
a very high
60. Clip. Like, there's nights where we shoot 50, 60, 40% from three.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I love what I'm saying. And the thing that people aren't even remember, we don't have Porzingis, which is 20 points.
Yeah.
That's 20 points right there. So Tatum leading us in points, rebounds, steals, assists, on the best team in the league, I would say, just off of last year and how we've started.
Yeah.
We have one loss, and it's Benedict Mathurin scored 30, and Tatum hit a clutch shot. We took it to overtime.
Yeah.
I would say Tatum right now is my front runner for MVP. So yeah, I love what I'm seeing from my Celtics. Only thing is health. I mean, Jaylen Brown didn't play last night. We don't have Porzingis, so if we could stay healthy,
I think y'all stay healthy. Y'all proven to have one of the most durable duos,
other than Porzingis. He's been hurt his whole career. So.
Yeah. So who do you think is the biggest threat to beat y'all in the East right now?
So Cleveland obviously looks scary with, and I think that is my Coach of the Year candidate, Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, as of right now, 100%. Yeah.
But I don't really know, because
when you really look at how it looks right now, there's not a single team that could beat y'all in the 7 games. It's not even a discussion.
It's not, and I really don't see a threat, because
Philly and Milwaukee are in the 13 and 14 seeds as of right now.
Exactly, and like I said, I just don't see Philly being healthy. Yeah. Like, I know it's like we hate to talk about health, but you have to go with what history has told you. Yeah. And Joel Embiid and Paul George being healthy at the exact same time is not a likely common thing. Yeah. Even though we swept Indiana, none of them games were crazy blowouts. That's our one loss right now. So maybe if Indiana, but I just don't see them beat. Like, I just don't see us losing to any of these teams in the East. I really don't. So yeah, for the East, I still don't love Mikal Bridges' shot.
I got to see more from every team for at least like another 20-game stretch to make my decision. And we talked about this yesterday. Both leagues, NBA, NFL, they're extremely top-heavy right now. Yeah. And lately it seems like there's been no repeat champions. We continuously talk about that and how the league keeps changing and how it's even. It doesn't seem like that this year at all. Yeah. It seems like in both conferences there's a clear number one, in my opinion, and then Dallas is obviously a very good team as well.
And but I have different thoughts about the West than I do the East, though.
100%.
You want to go ahead and move on to the West?
Yeah, Who's your favorite in the West?
So my favorite in the West is OKC, but I think once again, in this year's playoffs, it's very matchup based. Yeah. There's 5 teams I really like what I'm seeing from in the West, and they happen to be the top 5 seeds. But I think with JJ Redick as the coach, it has really changed the Lakers' dynamic, and I feel like we're getting the best out of AD right now. I feel like the 2 white boys, especially Kennett, by the end of the season, he's only going to get better and develop. Reeves is an offensive talent. Like, he is elite. He's an elite offensive talent. And you know what you're getting from LeBron when it comes to playoff time. So I do think it is very matchup based. So if I'm OKC, there's certain teams that I still would not.
I wouldn't want to go against the Lakers if I'm OKC. 100%. Yeah.
Like, there's certain teams. I like what I'm seeing from Phoenix. Their role players, Ryan Dunn and Tyus Jones added to the mix has obviously got them looking better. And Kevin Durant and Devin Booker can now just be wings and not all the time be the facilitators of the offense. Like I said, Clay, I was talking to you about this the other day. Clay got a lot of hate with his last year with the Warriors. Now he had that 0 for 12 or whatever playoff game, 0 for 10, whatever. But he shot 38% from the three.
Yeah.
And averaged 18 a game.
He wasn't a bad player last year.
If you take Klay Thompson's name off of those stats and you just show me the stats, a lot of teams would give a max contract to that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, and his shots with Luka and Kyrie are not going to be running off double staggered screens. He can sit corner.
Yeah.
Sit wing. He don't have to do all this movement and just shoot.
Absolutely.
So, I knew this was going to be a great fit with the Mavericks. So, that's really, and then the last team, Golden State. Yeah. I mean, Buddy Hield is the perfect replacement. He's doing better than Klay Thompson.
I didn't think that would ever happen. Him doing better.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that will stand up, but if it does,
I think
Golden
it will.
State. You think it will?
No, I definitely think it will, and it's the perfect system for Buddy Hield.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Once they get healthy and everything, he could be another 6 Man of the Year candidate with Peyton Pritchard, but he's been starting. Yeah. Due to a lot of injuries, but I love what I'm seeing. And the thing about Golden State is, the trend has been, a lot of superstars, and then basically the team who has the most superstars are top level players. I mean, we've seen Boston. You have 5 players that you could arguably put in the top 50.
Yeah,
100%. And then you add Al Horford and Peyton Pritchard to that, and it's just like that's a stacked, talented roster. You can go down the line. I mean, LeBron and AD, Luka, Kyrie, these players, these teams.
I mean, the top 5 seeds in the West it's the best player.
Exactly.
The best players.
The thing about Golden State is they have Curry.
Yeah.
But after that, the way they've built their roster, they have 8 to 9 role players that can really impact the game.
Yeah.
Really impact the game. So, I mean, you got Kuminga, Wiggins, DeAnthony Melton will come back eventually. Buddy Hield. Trey Jackson Davis, Kevon Looney is elite rebounder.
Draymond's still there.
So you have a lot of role. They probably have the deepest amount of role players in the NBA.
Yeah.
So they built their roster very differently than a lot of the other teams in the league that have maybe 2 top 15, 20 players in that sense. So it's really interesting. I'm going to be very tuned into the Western Conference playoffs. I don't think I'll be very tuned in other than I'll watch every Boston game, but don't think I'll be very tuned into the East.
The East is interesting because, honestly, the only teams I'm willing to watch is if we maybe get a New York Philly series or if we get Paolo Banchero back.
Yeah.
Because, honestly, the Magic with Paolo are the scariest team to the Celtics, in my opinion, because they're the only team that just, I don't know. It's every other team. Obviously, the Cavs are 7-0 right now, but it doesn't move me because it feels like they've been good in the regular season for years and years, and once again, their schedule, they're 7-0, but they beat some bad teams. Mm-hmm. They beat the Wizards. I'm pretty sure they have beat some bad teams. So we don't know how good the Cavs are yet. Who's the biggest surprise so far, bad or good?
I mean, I know they're 500, but the Nets being at the 7th seed right now, 3-3.
Oh yeah,
shows how bad the East is. But I mean, Cam Thomas.
Yeah.
Cam Thomas is an elite level scorer, and he's obviously he's not a top 5 scorer in the league or nothing like that, but he would be on players' top list of people you don't want to guard. I mean, he shoots efficiently.
It's a good clip every game.
Yeah, and he's giving you every time I look, he's got 30 something.
I don't mean to hate though, but also it never seems like the right shot or he makes it.
He makes it.
And he's one of those guys that's so talented as a scorer, as a volume scorer, that he's going to win you so many, like a 7 seed. He's going to win you games to where you can be in that type of position.
Yes.
If I'm another team that's thinking about lacking or that is thinking that they're lacking perimeter scoring, I'm calling Cam Thomas. I'm calling the Nets, and I'm trying to get this guy.
Yeah. Because
they're in a rebuild right now, and they probably don't want that to be their cornerstone. So
100%.
If they can move off of him, that would be great. My surprise is Milwaukee. Giannis.
In a negative way. Okay, yeah.
And if they don't get this together, Giannis is gone. Yeah. And that's something we also were talking about, where Giannis would go. Good fits. But, dude, they can't guard. Yeah. They're old. It's just like, imagine this team going against the Celtics in 4 games. It would be the most embarrassing series in the world. They literally cannot run down the floor. They are a 1-5 team, and they haven't played the best teams. They lost to the Nets. I'm pretty like it just doesn't make sense.
And I don't think their front office has done a great job with after they won their championship reconstructing or rebuilding their roster.
They're living off of that. You know what it reminds me of? The Cincinnati Bengals. Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like you're gaining these assets and you're living off of that one title, and that's keeping you in. In the picture.
The league has changed. You're not winning a title with Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez as your front court.
No, they can't. They have no Brook Lopez, especially out there like Groot. He has no defensive versatility whatsoever. No. He's not moving his feet. Bobby Portis is a good player. But
he's good,
but he's not going to get you anywhere as your front. Like Giannis, once again, he's in the front court, but it does feel like it's Giannis versus the other team. Yeah. Dame had 4 points the other night.
And the thing about Dame is, even when he's scoring 30, I think Dame doesn't know how do I put it?
Affect the game in other ways.
He don't know how to because it's his scoring, but he doesn't know how to make the people around him better.
Oh yeah.
Like, honestly, you're scoring 30, but it's almost like it's not within the flow of the game. It's like you're going to get 30, which is nothing wrong with that, because I see Cam Thomas doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But Dame, when we paired you with Giannis, there was like we always used to say like Shaq and Curry would be the best duo of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Giannis is like a watered down Shaq, and Dame is a watered down Curry.
Yeah.
Like, we thought this was going to be one of the best duos of all time when the day the trade happened.
Yeah,
where like people don't even remember that.
Yeah,
like it was Dame and Giannis. Okay, they're winning a championship.
Yeah.
And that just wasn't the case. The fit has not been amazing.
But I don't think it's the fit between those two guys. I think it has less to do with Dame, and like you said earlier, it's the front office not building around. I mean,
but it's like I don't know how to put it. Like,
because offensively, once again, that's not the biggest problem.
They're both giving you 30. Dame will give you 30. Giannis will give you 30. They've done it multiple times this year on the same night. The problem is, I felt like, and this might be coaching. It probably is, and I'm not a Doc Rivers fan at all. You're like, the amount of Hall of Famers that you coached and only ended up with one ring is very questionable. But like a Dame Giannis pick and roll doesn't fear me like it should. Like, that should be unstoppable.
And we also haven't seen it ramp up in the playoffs. And for me, once again, something that they don't have that all of these good teams have. You guys, Celtics, have a great wing, 2 great wings.
2.
The Thunder, great wings. Mavericks, great wings. Timberwolves, great wings. Where is the Bucks athletic wing? Who is guarding on that team? Who is that guy that's going to step up and guard that other team's best player? Giannis will do it, but Giannis isn't going to guard a guard.
But even Giannis, though, I saw like against I want to see Giannis go out and guard Tatum. Like, there was times, if you watch the game, he's asking for a switch. Like, he doesn't want to guard Tatum.
And it's getting to the point. I'm not going to say like Embiid, but like, he's living off of that championship a little bit too much, too, because he has been injured every single year since that championship. Except for the year where, I think the KD year where he foot on the line. But
also they came back the very next year, and Grant Williams.
That
was when Tatum came back game 6. And people don't talk about that. Like, Tatum outplayed Giannis in his own house.
Yeah.
Dropped 46 points in a game 6. That's where you seal the game.
I really do. You start to understand, because it's starting to get to a point to where we have years and years upon evidence of Jason Tatum being a dominant force in this league. Not just a great player, because we already knew that.
Yes.
Being a dominant force as far as winning. And guess what is the priority in any sport, any competition in life? Winning. And that's what he does.
Yes.
So I just think how extremely underrated he's been is crazy, because once again, when you see guys like Giannis, when you see guys like Kawhi, when you see guys like Paul George, all these kids, and all these people in the league, kids and people in the league today, Paul George is the best player I've ever seen. You've heard that.
Yes.
You've heard that. We've all heard that.
Yes.
How? I can never understand it. Yes, he has
just
found a way to play.
He has the most complete game or something like that, but he's not the
say he's the most appeasing to watch.
Yes, say that.
But don't
say he's your favorite player.
Yeah.
But don't say he's the best.
The best, he can't even be in the conversation.
Yes.
Today, he can't even be in the conversation for a top 15 NBA player.
It's going to get to the point where, unless you really watch this era, you're not going to talk about Paul George in this era of basketball.
And that's my thing. How long do you keep talking about Giannis? Because Giannis, I'm sorry, when he won that championship, this is not a joke. People are talking about this guy being a top 10 player of all time. That was a reality.
And the problem is, and I fell into this too, people, and I've said this, and it goes along with the Jason Tatum as well, they do it in both aspects. People overreact to people's career way too early on. Absolutely. They see Giannis win a championship against the Phoenix Suns, who have never been there, with Devin Booker and Chris Paul, and the round before that, we all know if the Nets were healthy, it would have been in 4, maximum 5. Like, that Nets team, people don't talk about it enough. It was an automatic ring. They literally would have been in conversations with the KD Warriors.
Exactly.
They were that talented and that good if they could have just stayed healthy. So
he has a way less impressive ring than a guy, and once again, this is who we're comparing him to now.
Yes.
Kawhi Leonard has a damn impressive ring.
Yes.
Giannis, past 10 years, it's lower on that list of the most impressive rings.
And the thing is, like I was getting at, people overreact to these players at a young age. People are so overreacted to Jason Tatum coming up short, while other players in the league at that age were being a 10 seed and 8 seed all of this time.
Yeah.
The moment Jason Tatum stepped in the league, he's been on a playoff team. He's been on good teams. He's never not been in the playoffs, and his game is translated to winning.
And he's been durable.
Year after year after year. And then he finally wins a ring. And he wins a ring before most people's favorite players of all time, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. He's won a ring at... So, y'all haters on Jason Tatum, y'all spoke too early. Because Jason Tatum, let's say his career doesn't even pan out to where we think it's going to go. But, like, he could end up being, let's say... I would say he's at least going to be a 2-time champion. Like, it would be a failure of this dynasty because we have the squad we have now, 1 through 6, 1 through 7. We have them signed.
Y'all have to.
We have them signed for at least 4 years. Like Porzingis, our entire starting 5, everybody. Only person that's going to leave is Horford. Yeah. But Xavier Tillman has already showed signs of being able to shoot the ball and defend at elite level.
Absolutely.
So he probably will step into the role.
Yeah.
People don't know he's only 20-something years old. So my thing is, let's say just Tatum wins 1 more. He's going to have 2 rings. He's going to be the all-time leading scorer, most likely, in Celtics history. Yeah. Like, out of every Celtic of all time.
That great franchise that is the Celtics.
Franchise.
Yeah.
2 rings. And it's going to get to the point where I don't want to put a cap or put it too high and overreact, but he could end up being a top player of all time, just to be safe, he could be a top 25 player of all time.
Yeah.
He could be a top 25 player of all time. And people are sitting here like, I don't...
Sorry about that, guys, but we're going to keep talking. Yeah.
But yeah, like, it's just, I don't know. It's just crazy how people overreact. And while, like you said, we said Giannis was going to be, maybe he could be a top 10 player of all time. I was the one saying after he won that first ring because I thought with Drew Holiday and that Chris Middleton.
I thought they were going to make a run for a while.
I thought they were going to make a run for a while. Same thing with the Nuggets, and I was wrong.
Yeah.
But
the hold on, I'm going to return to what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about how top-heavy the leagues are.
Yeah.
The Celtics don't have a dominant force that is Patrick Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they have the same dominance as far as where they are compared to their league and the Celtics are to their league. It's about the same dominance. So if you're that dominant in a league, your best player has to be...
Yeah, he has to be good.
He has to be.
And the thing about Jason Tatum is the only time you can say, yes, he has bad playoff performances, when honestly it doesn't matter.
No.
Because when it comes down to a Game 6 in Milwaukee, when it comes down to the Game 7 in Philly, when it comes down to these key games, Jason Tatum has always showed up. The only time you can point and say, yeah, he choked was against Golden State.
Yeah.
Because you can say he played bad all playoffs last year, but they lost 2 games the entire playoffs. Yeah. So did it seem to really matter?
It seems so easy, and that's my point. It seems so easy for them that a lot of people, when they watched basketball last year, seem to really highlight how Jason Tatum, a lot of stat sheet watchers.
Yes.
When instead of watching the game, it's like, damn, I mean, he has shots that he could take, but why would you?
And
I mean, they're carving this team.
He shot so terribly.
Yes.
That's really it, honestly. He shot so terribly and played so terribly, and still he led his team in the NBA Finals and the Conference Finals in points, rebounds, and assists.
They remind me of like the Lions offense, bro.
Like,
it's just like no one is stopping.
No.
Offensively, they just can't be stopped now, once again, with the Thunder. The Thunder are the only team. I think that everyone's praying on the Thunder to beat this team because Dallas, if they return, I don't think they can do it
No,
either.
and the thing about it is, it's not... First of all, if you look at our starting five, Derek White, it's crazy to say he's 6'4", 6'5". He literally blocks shots.
Yeah.
You have him, you have Tatum, Brown, Drew Holiday, and then you could throw either Porzingis or Al Horford.
Yeah.
We can literally switch 1 through 5.
Yeah.
Like, Derek White is fine with guarding bigs. Drew Holiday is fine with guarding bigs. It's really crazy. So you have that superpower on that end of the floor. And we shoot threes actually like the prime Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Like, at that, like, numbers-wise, we shoot the three ball at an elite clip. Every single player. Drew Holiday right now is the best three-point shooter in the corner in the NBA. Derek White, we know what he can do. And then you got Tatum and Brown, who, not that they've been the best duo in the past 10 years, but they've also been the most durable.
100%. I wonder, because I really do think about the Thunder, and I think right now, with all honesty, y'all have the upper hand because of how good Jason Tatum and that's where the mismatch is. And if Lou Dort comes in to guard Jason Tatum, he will do a damn good job. But
the
he
way
can't
he's shooting
shoot.
the ball.
The way he's shooting the ball is not effective enough to be able to keep up offensively with the Boston Celtics. I feel like we should move him if we want to go all in. Lou Dort needs to get moved, and then you got to make another sacrifice. Obviously, don't trade any of the big three.
Yeah,
but I mean, when that is the standard. But the Boston Celtics are the standard, and that's what you're trying to reach.
The other thing about it is, and people don't see that, you've seen it with the Celtics, their first time ever in the finals.
Trey Murphy. Trey Murphy is the guy I would get. Sorry, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just
no, that's fine.
You. Yeah,
but you saw it the Celtics when they played Golden State. I felt like the Celtics were better than Golden State that year. There's something about teams. You even seen it with LeBron James, a lot of people's GOAT, in his finals against the Mavericks.
Yeah,
and that wasn't his first finals, but it was his first time with a real chance. These teams who go to the finals, this is my only, like, I think OKC will make the finals.
Yeah.
But you never know how some of those players are going to play.
Very
because
true.
You saw it with the Mavericks last year, where you have guys like PJ Washington, who, if anyone who's a Mavericks fan, probably that whole playoffs was like, yo, he is. And it's like, you never know what player that'll be. I know it won't be Shea.
But that's the thing, though. The funny thing about that is the two teams you just brought up, the Celtics against the Warriors and the Heat against the Mavericks, LeBron and Tatum, that's probably the only series that they've ever really decreased their play in.
Yes.
The only one. So that's what I am kind of scared about that. But Shea just gets so high efficient looks.
It's not about Shea.
No.
It's not about Shea. It would be the, like, I'm not going to lie, I could see Lou Dort playing terrible in an NBA Finals.
That's what I'm scared of.
Yes.
And I can see that, and I would actually predict that to happen.
Yes. Even the guy who's killing for y'all, like Wiggins.
Yeah.
Like, just, and I'm not even talking about defensively. I'm talking about just shooting wise, because we are going to shoot in all these conversations, I didn't even bring up Sam Hauser and how big he was in last year's run. We shoot the piss out. We shoot the ball. Like, we shoot and that's where really what it is. Like, Shea would be coming down, getting middies, Chet coming out. Y'all would go bucket for us. But the amount of three balls we're going to hit, I don't see a team being able. I mean, you even saw it. We had one off game, and Dallas beat us by like 30 in game 4. Like, I just don't see a team being able to outshoot us 4 out of 7 times.
Yeah.
Now, I could see, like, it's going to happen again in the playoffs. People are going to overreact. We're going to lose in the first round to, like, Miami in game 2.
Because y'all shot.
Because we shot bad.
Yeah.
If you look at the games we lost to Cleveland, we shot bad. Donovan Mitchell had 40-something.
Yeah.
Like, you look at, we just shot the ball bad.
Yeah.
I don't see a team outshooting us that many games in a row. And
I think with OKC, it's going to come down to your front court is definitely going to win.
Yeah.
So, Shea, J-Dub, how bad are you going to win your matchup with Holiday and D. White?
And it's going, and I'm not. Shea will be fine. Shea will be fine.
I think they'll both win, but it matters about the extent.
Shea will be fine, but damn, Drew Holiday and Derek White having to deal with them the entire game is not an easy task for any guard.
And how does that affect your guards as well?
Exactly.
And that's why I think that's such an intriguing series, and I pray that we get it because obviously you're a Celtics fan, I'm a Thunder fan.
Yes,
that will be cinema. And if also OKC Dallas, because Dallas is so good. Dallas is they're deeper than last year, and that's what I love about them. Honestly, like they're deeper.
And I feel like I predicted this correctly.
Yeah.
And obviously it's been 6 games, so I'm not talking about in a grand scheme, but this is what I talked about with the Anthony Edwards overreaction.
Yeah.
Because it has nothing to do with Anthony Edwards' talent. But he could end up, unless he leaves Minnesota, he could actually end up never going to an NBA Finals.
Very true.
He could, with the way OKC looks, with the way, obviously there's going to, he's going to be in the league for a while. If he doesn't leave Minnesota, I could genuinely see him never making a finals, and we used to compare him to Michael Jordan.
I just think,
and that's why
looking back on it, and hindsight is very extremely 2020 because we obviously both had different thoughts about this when the trade happened. But I think Julius, just in your mind, if you really sit down and think about it, if Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert are your front court, you're probably not going to win an NBA championship today. That's just how it is.
The spacing there is terrible. Imagine if a team like that were to play Boston.
Exactly.
The spacing would be horrible. Imagine Julius Randle and Gobert trying to guard, pick any of our 5. I don't care what 5.
I understand people are trying to get up more threes now, but the way Ant shoots the 3 ball now and he's shooting it at a good clip.
Yes.
But, bro, the math equation ain't always what we're looking for.
Yeah.
You got to find ways to make opportunities for your teammates. So if you settle, you're not putting pressure on those guys.
I think the problem is the NBA is a copycat league.
Exactly.
And yes, it works for the Celtics, and that's why I applaud.
But the Celtics are elite drivers,
and that's what I applaud. First of all, Jason Tatum draws more double teams. Even in the NBA Finals, his numbers were terrible. He's drawing double teams every single time down the court. Jason Tatum says stuff to mess with the media, like Jaylen Brown's the best player.
Yeah.
Jason Kidd, you don't believe that. You doubled Jason Tatum every single time down the court. You didn't double Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So I know it was smart. He playing with the media, trying to cause division in our team, but it's so crazy how after such a great season for the Celtics last year, I feel like we're the most hungry team in the NBA.
Yeah, and that's
simply on the fact that Steve Kerr and the USA with Jaylen Brown, and so it's actually crazy. And the problem with the league, like I was getting back to, it's a copycat league. So everyone, and this is why I applaud OKC. People are trying to copy the Boston Celtics and the amount of threes they're getting up. Look at your personnel.
Exactly.
Look at your personnel. Are you Minnesota? Do you have the facilities to do that?
They don't have a single driver of the basketball when Ant is shooting the 3. They don't. You can look at it. Jaden McDaniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. They are right now great basketball players, but they aren't driving the basketball for you. They aren't creating those looks. And like you said, the Celtics are getting great looks because they're great drivers of the basketball. Shea is probably the best driver of the basketball in basketball right now, other than obviously LeBron and Giannis.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's the Celtics once again. They're high up right now. And there's nothing else to say about
it's scary. And like I said, we don't even have Porzingis because watching these games, that's really all we're missing. Just someone to block shots in the paint. Because with Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, Derek White, and Drew Holiday, those 4 being able to switch on to you, any team's best player, it's trouble.
You're not getting a good look.
You're not, and that's what the NBA is, and that's why Joe Mazzulla is one of the best coaches in the NBA, because if you watch the entire game, we are not running a crazy offense. No. We are not. We are running Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum is either the ball handler or he is the screener at the top of the key every single time. We're going to make you switch. I watched it last night. All right. Who's the worst defender on the court? Trey Mann? Okay, Trey Mann, come here.
Yeah.
Let me get that switch.
Yeah.
Same thing with Jaylen Brown.
Shout out Trey Mann, though.
Yeah, shout out Trey Mann, but whoever the worst defender is on the court, all right, come here. We're going to make you switch.
Yeah.
And if you don't switch, then that means Jaylen Brown was just being guarded by whoever. It's all he does is find a mismatch every single play.
Yeah.
When you find a mismatch and you drive, we're either getting a layup
exactly, or
you had to bring someone to help, and that's an open 3 to the best 3-point shooting team. It's simple. It's simplicity.
And that's why Julius Randle pisses me off every single time I watch him, because he can be he can be a force down there, and people think that the mid post is just a lost start. It's dead.
Yeah.
I feel like if Julius Randle wanted to get that touch, drive the basketball, pull up, shoot.
Yeah.
He settles for so many off the dribble threes that it makes me want to, like, bro, that's not your game.
It's not.
You miss all of them, and if you're taking a catch and shoot three in the flow of the game, I'm fine with seeing that because I know you are a capable shooter.
Yes.
But the amount of times, like I said, that he pulls up.
That's not the shot you should be looking for.
These teams that are just taking off the dribble threes consistently, you're not winning like that.
No.
Unless you have a guy like LaMelo Ball this year who's been hitting frequently off the dribble. Stars that can hit off the dribble, because that's not a very easy skill.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a very good team.
No. And the thing about it is, like I said with that, like, I mean, we've seen the Julius Randle play style with Rudy Gobert. It's only going to get worse to come playoff time.
Yes.
It's only going to get worse come playoff time.
Nas Reed is playing majority of the minutes. But thank you guys for tuning in. Long video right there. But like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.